Oh no, that's us out of Europe. Yes, Kilmarnock are out of Europe, but at least they didn't go down without a fight. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Football's finished. Kilmarnock 1, Copenhagen 1 in the second leg of the Europa Conference League playoff. It means it's 3-1 on aggregate, but this is by no means an embarrassing result. Nothing to be ashamed of. Kilmarnock tonight were truly taking on a Champions League outfit. I don't have the numbers exactly, but we know that Copenhagen more often than not are in the Champions League. They were in it as recently as last year. Not only were they in it, they actually advanced out of their group and pushed Man City all the way in the last 16. So I think for Kilmarnock to then pretty much push Copenhagen all the way about 8 months later just shows you what an incredible job they've done and what an incredible job Derek McInnes has done as a manager, as a team. The only problem for KILLIE is they are now officially out of Europe and they have no points in the league. They're out the League Cup, and it's a little bit depressing when you look at it like that.
It is a bit depressing when you look at it like that, right? But here, it was an uphill task. No one really expected KILLIE to win today. Let's be honest. I predicted 1-1. I got it right. But here, see, all in all, when you take the fact that that's them out of Europe, 1-1 against Copenhagen's a fantastic result.
No, it is a fantastic result for KILLIE. I think they'll remember that result. I think it'll go down as one of Kilmarnock's best results in years. And, of course, it helps the Kilmarnock coefficient. It helps the Scottish coefficient. So, fantastic. Not denying that. I think... Did they deserve to go through? I mean, maybe not. But there wasn't much in it. And I do think there's some people out there that would have totally written off Kilmarnock when this tie was made.
I agree. They're unfortunate. They got a tough draw. I'm convinced if KILLIE got an easier team, they'd be in the group stage right now, or league stage.
Yeah, like the team St Mirren would have got.
Yeah, well, Astana, they actually came back for 2-0 down and beat that team 3-0 today, but I just look at it and think, well, you know what? You know, Copenhagen, they couldn't have got a much tougher draw.
No, they couldn't. I think Copenhagen was about as tough as it got for Kilmarnock, and they got them. So,
and if you look at the 3 goals they've conceded, never a penalty, a wonder goal.
That was probably after time.
Yep, and an unlucky
own goal.
You know, they've been...
It's not like they've been cut to shreds or ripped apart here.
Yeah.
But before we talk about the game, do you think Kilmarnock fans will accept maybe having an average season this year? I know it's early days, but they're playing catch-up. Do you think KILLIE fans will accept maybe being below par this season, not qualifying for Europe next season, and getting knocked out the Scottish League Cup early? Do you think that makes up for this mini little run that they've had in Europe and getting to go to Norway and getting to go to Denmark? Would the fans rather that? Do you think this little European trip, this little European run, something that they can remember for years to come, and that's better than potentially another top 6 finish and maybe another trip to Hampden?
I mean, you're going to have to ask a KILLIE fan, but looking at it from the outside in, I think, why not? You know, Celtic, KILLIE they've got 3 tough draws in a row. They could have had it a lot easier. They haven't. And you know what? There's a few wins in there, there's a few draws in there, and there's a few respectable defeats in there. I don't think, and see Europe this season, I think they've done themselves in the coefficient pride. I do think that. Decisions have went against them. Domestically, yeah, it's been shocking, but you know what? I think when we look back in November time, KILLIE will be up the league and you'll be like, you know what? It was worth a poor start domestically for that European run. I get it. You know, people will be like, oh, it's tin pot, blah, blah, blah. KILLIE are KILLIE, right? And, you know...
And, you know, I suppose there's no point qualifying for Europe if you can't have a wee run.
No, well, that's it.
And I think maybe, would the fans of Kilmarnock accept that a poor start to the season's worth it if you get like a nice wee European run and you maybe get a round later, further than you'd expect to get? I mean, possibly. I need KILLIE fans to tell us that. But here, let's talk about the game. Kilmarnock got to the perfect start within the first, I believe, 15 minutes, getting the opening goal.
It was a triple rebound. Watkins finally manages to get on it. There's a far check. You're panicking. But on the KILLIE, count it 1-0.
Yeah, they got it 1-0. And for me, that is a little bit disappointing. Looking back now, Kilmarnock scoring that early, getting that goal back that early, getting into the lead and really making this tie alive. And do you think maybe they'll look back and they'll go, you know, it's a shame that we scored so early and then just couldn't get another?
Yeah, I mean, they could have got another. They hit the bar, then Watkins missed the rebound. But again, it's a top opposition, man. I don't. We're not talking about a Diddy team here. Look at the group they're in. This is a team that drew with Bayern Munich, beat United, and put Galatasaray to the sword. Like, I mean, this is Killie. I mean, I think if Celtic or Rangers lost 3-1 in aggregate to Copenhagen, it wouldn't be classed as like an absolute disaster.
We've lost to Copenhagen before.
No, they have lost to Copenhagen before. You know, Killie, man, yeah, you know what? You score early. Yeah, you would have liked to have, made a bit more of a dent into it and maybe potentially asked the question and went through. But absolutely, it's tough, man. Copenhagen are a quality side. We're not talking about a European. We're talking proper Champions League. And this is Killie's first year in Europe in a few years. So.
Speaking of quality, there was a couple of quality saves made in that first half by Mark O'Hara. And, I mean, has he cemented himself as the new number one?
Yeah, Robbie McCrory, what's happened?
Robbie McCrory must be thinking, what is going on here? I left Rangers because I didn't want to be number two. I didn't want to be sitting on the bench. But he's left Rangers to possibly be number two at Kilmarnock. It's going to be a tough pill to swallow.
It's going to be a tough pill to swallow. It is what it is, though. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not like it's not deserved. The guy's come in, he's been pretty brilliant. He's been pretty brilliant there. So, yeah, I mean, after this, we've seen Copenhagen get 3 corners in a row. But I thought Copenhagen weren't even... They were a bit quiet tonight. But, they won 2-0. They didn't really need to come here and, lay the smack down, so to speak. Is what it is. But then we get to half time, you're thinking, right, Killie, you're still in this, make a few substitutions, etc, etc. We're seeing the likes of, Polworth get subbed off for right. You've seen Gary Mackay-Stevens come on. And they just never really made it work, Killie, but they concede the goal. It's unlucky for Lewis Mayo. It trickles into the back of the net, whatever, but it's just one of those things. On a different day, that doesn't go in and maybe Killie get a late goal, but, draw or win 1-0 tonight and still go out. It's good. It's good for Killie.
I mean, Killie had a couple of half chances in that second half, but I felt like Copenhagen were always the team more likely to score. It always felt like it was more likely to go 1-1 than it was 2-0. Unfortunately, that was the case. And, it went 1-1, and that did kill the tie. I mean, I just think you knew at that point Kilmarnock weren't getting 2 unanswered goals, unfortunately.
Yeah. It would be hard against a lesser opposition with that time to go, but a great side. I mean, you won't find you'll struggle to find a better side in Conference League football qualifying tonight than Copenhagen. I mean, you're probably looking at Chelsea being better.
That's probably it. And I think
honestly,
Fiorentina maybe.
We're talking about 3-4 teams, so Killie have been dealt a really hard hand by that. They pushed, but I mean, we're being honest, probably Copenhagen could have had a few goals there to win it, but they didn't. It's a good point for the coefficient.
Yeah, done Scotland proud. Kilmarnock cannot, shouldn't be ashamed of what they've done in this European run. Really, really, really good European, campaign for them. And I'm sure they'll be hoping that they can now kickstart on domestically, because I think once you get a taste of this and you start mixing it up and you start getting into Europe, and not just to be there for one round, when you actually start getting through the rounds and winning games and, getting very, very close to actually qualifying for the group stages, that will make teams want to get this every single year. So, yeah, for me, due to what we've seen for Killie and St Mirren in Europe this year, you'd think they'll be desperate now to push on and try and make that a regular thing every season. But of course, there's only so many spots that go out to European places, so we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, Kilmarnock out of Europe now, they need to focus domestically. I think they've done a good job. Derek McKinnon's done a good job. They can be proud of themselves. They've also helped the Scottish coefficient, so thank you for Kilmarnock. And now they go on to the weekend, and it's a massive game. It truly is a massive game for Kilmarnock. Before we go into the international break, you do feel like they need a result. I know we've just spoke about how well they've done, but still, I think they need a positive result before this break, just to give them something. I mean, you do not want to go into the international break 4 defeats in a row in that league.
No, you do not. And questions will get asked regardless of how some fans think. I mean, it's alright what fans think, right? But you have to wonder, what are the Killie board going to think? How much money have they made? And I think for Killie to make a dent in Europe, you're going to need consistent European football. But obviously, coefficients got lost. It's going to be harder to actually get into playoffs, etc, etc. Anyway, guys, leave your thoughts down below. Killie won. Copenhagen won. here. It's better than what Hibs have done in recent years and other teams.
It is. So fair play to them, guys. We'll catch you in the next
Hibs
one.
don't know what a playoff round is, unless it's a relegation one.
Till next time, peace.